Good morning, my little chickadees. It's Tuesday, and I've already been uber productive. I'm about to go into a meeting, so I thought I'd do a quick little clip, an update. Polly's resting. He went to the park this morning with the dogs for about an hour, came back and made us breakfast, which was fabulous, but totally not the breakfast I would have made for myself, so that's why there's no juice for breakfast this morning. I will replace my lunch with the juice. And I think I have some yummy pineapple to add to it today, too. So I ran over to the pharmacy, finally got this all straightened out. Look at that. The original cost of the scripts were $392.76, and with copays, it's only $33.85. I realize pharmaceutical companies need to make their money. However, I cannot wrap my brain around the logistics of charging $323 for just one script, which is then a $10 copay. Even less, I think it was $5 actually. So nuts, absolutely nuts. Knowing what happens behind the scenes, because I work for a healthcare company, I think there's just a little bit of greed involved. Just a little bit. A lot. Everyone deserves to be able to get better, to heal themselves, if they're prescribed something, if there's a procedure that is going to benefit them, without having to first worry, is it covered? How much is it covered for? And am I going to be bankrupt if I opt for that particular script or coverage? It's kind of insane. And I'm thankful that we have coverage. Everything is all set. Card now works, although my name kept coming up bizarrely. But obviously I'm not Paul Hensel. So I got that all resolved. So one thing I can cross off my to-do list for today. And then I have a bunch of paperwork to do later on after my 1 o'clock meeting. So I'm going to go over and make myself a nice big seltzer. It's gorgeous. It's 75 degrees outside. And on my way back from the pharmacy, I saw the cutest thing. There's a little park, probably about 2 or 3 blocks from our house. And there was a school bus that's the mobile book. Oh my gosh, brain fart. Hold on. I took a picture of it because I thought it was so stinking cute. And there was a ton of kids around it too, all really happy. Hold on. Let me book. See. The school bus is full of books, and there's parents and kids and all around the park. So I'm going to post this on my Instagram account. I'm always thrilled when I see stuff like that. I'm a reader. I read in multiple languages. Much slower in Russian, and I'll tell you why, because I no longer think in Russian, and I haven't thought or processed in Russian in a very long time. That's actually a way. I know my husband says I talk too much, but guess what? It's my channel. He can have his own channel, and he can not talk all he wants. Sorry, I had to get that out of my system. The moment you start thinking in the language you are learning, that's the kind of the paradigm shift when you have assimilated. And I have been thinking and dreaming in English for decades. So for me to read in another language like Russian, I actually need to flip a switch in my brain. Obviously, it's all, behind the scenes. I don't actually flip any switches, although how cool would that be? So in order for me to read easier, and as I read it does get easier and faster, I have to process it. It's not like I do a translation. If I don't understand a word, which, believe me, there are words I do not understand in Russian, because I spoke Russian for 10 years of my life, nonstop. Well, from the time I started speaking, so what, 1 year old? So for 9 years, I spoke Russian. That was my native tongue. That's what I learned first. Then we moved to Austria, then to Italy, then we came to the States. So it was kind of a hodgepodge. My sister, who was 18 months old when we left Odessa, Ukraine, former Soviet Union, she started speaking Russian, English, Italian, German, all pretty much at the same time. So when you start to think and dream in the language you are learning, or language other than your native tongue, that's kind of when the assimilation has occurred. And I've been doing that for a very long time. So when I do read in either Russian or in French obviously is much more difficult for me because it's not my native tongue, although I took it in high school But once you learn one foreign language in addition to your native tongue, it is much easier to learn additional ones. Because it's kind of like your brain is trained for it now, to expect to make those kind of synapse changes and recognitions in the foreign language. So I am not sure why I went off on this tangent. Oh, because I'm a reader. Brought myself back. I totally talk to myself, but usually not out loud. The camera allows me to speak to myself out loud without people looking at me funny. Sometimes I get looks anyway, but I don't feel funny about it because I'm sharing. So when I read in Russian, it's definitely much slower than when I read in English. I'm a skim reader when I read in English, and I think majority of us are majority of readers, because that's how you can kind of I've read 9 books in the last few weeks, and grant you, they're not War and Peace, which is the book that I'm reading in Russian. I almost feel like I need to give myself a gold star once I finish. It is a complicated read. If it was food, it would be a super rich meal, because it's a very rich, woven story. There are a lot of names, which are even foreign sounding to me at this point. So when I read in Russian, it's a slower process for me. Sometimes I have to put the book down because I get a headache, because I'm translating instantaneously. Not like I have to sit down and translate, but there are words that I definitely don't catch. So I kind of have to think about what the rest of the sentence is and whether I can fill in the blank of the word that I don't quite understand. In French, it's even more complicated for me because I'm not a native French speaker. I took it in school, but I have an ear for languages, which ironically is usually in people who also have an ear for music, and I don't. I think I'm tone deaf. I've tried singing before. I have not succeeded. Tried playing instrument. I have a ukulele that I almost picked up the other day again because I dusted it off. Anyway, before I go off on too far a tangent. So, yes, I love seeing books in kids' hands, especially when it's city kids where, it's much easier to just not read. And I love hearing all of my mommy friends who are online who post their kids' summer reading lists and how they're progressing. You only mentioned that she's through half of her personal list, which is fabulous. So I enjoy that. I think reading takes you out of your life and transports you to a place and time or an era, a situation that you may never be able to experience any other way. Plus the vividness of your imagination taking over, which differs greatly from when you're watching a movie. You fill in the blanks. You fill in all of those little gray areas that are left by the narrator or the storyline. So I love reading. I highly recommend reading. I go through spurts where I'll read 15 books in like a month or two, and then I'll have some downtime where I don't really read, depending on what's going on in my life. So lately, what I've been doing, instead of watching TV at night, I snuggle into my little reading nook, which Polly took a nap in yesterday, which was funny because I'm like, get out of my nook because I want to read, and I kicked him out and sent him up to bed. And Moses snuggles up to me, and it's quiet, and I have Pandora playing, so it's very relaxing. It's very conducive to letting my brain kind of run off and do its own thing based on the storyline. Mind you, I've been reading kind of smutty books, but whatever I'm reading, I'm engaging my brain instead of just kind of mindlessly watching TV. Not that there's anything wrong with just watching some downtime TV. So, that being said, I have to run to my next meeting, and I have to prep some paperwork and make myself a seltzer because I really, really need to drink. And I had to reprimand somebody this morning, which is my least favorite thing to do, but I'm hoping that it came across as diplomatic and constructive instead of just, you're doing it wrong. So, always kind of cautious when I do that, because you don't know how the written word can come across, especially since it wasn't done live and in person. It was via email. Yeah, there's a good question. How do you handle a sticky situation where you know you have to face it and you know you have to address it, but your brain is putting on, skid mark kind of don't want to do it thing, because Polly's facing one like that, and I had one this morning which I tackled because I feel like when I get something accomplished, it cleanses me. It just makes me feel so much better. So yeah, hearty breakfast, did a couple of errands, chickens are open, there's already been an egg, really getting a good start. And OMG, are we going to have lots of cucumbers. I think I might have to make some kosher dill pickles, which would be fun. Oh my lord, I've been talking for 10.5 minutes. Okay, I'll catch up with you guys later on. Just filmed a video on the Evolution Advanced little party letterpress kit. Oh shush. And I'll include a link in the description. I had to move the ring from my right hand because it kept getting caught on the strap of my camera. Yeah, it's a big giant glass. Can you imagine? I could probably subsidize a small country if this was a real diamond. I wouldn't own a diamond that size or anywhere near that. Only because, yeah, I wouldn't. Although, I could totally carry off a big stone, right? Big rock. Big rock. Alright, before I start to ramble, I'm gonna go. There'll be one more video that I'll probably link, and it's the Stedler pens that I got. Which, where are they? I'll sneak a peek you, because I'm gonna show them separately. It's a 0.3 millimeter 20-piece set. Alright, see you in a bit. So we just did a quick veggie shop, fruit and veggie shop. Got a crab bag of onions, which are going to be onion jam. Some cauliflower, which never goes to waste in this house. Some sweet potatoes that I've been craving. Some raw peanuts, untoasted, unsalted. Some za'atar pita chips. I really like the flavor, and I'm going to make homemade hummus. Some of our favorite little cakes, which are low in sodium and sugar. A pineapple, which I think has been previously frozen, so I'm going to cut it up for our juice. This perfectly ripe melon, which, wow, can you smell that? Go ahead, scratch the screen. Yeah, I smelled it in the car. Some white potatoes and 3 beautiful limes. And then at Walgreens, I picked up a greener cleaner, which you can disinfect in the top portion of your dishwasher. And look, 2 of these organizers, which I know one is already going to someone, and I might offer the other one to someone else. So yeah, quick shop, and now Polly's gonna make dinner because he offered to make dinner so I can continue with the paperwork I need to do for his insurance. Be back in a few.